But overall, start off, just so everyone kind of knows where you're at, kind of give a description of like your name, what you do for work, and then kind of where you're located.
Okay. My name is Dedrie Harper. I'm a corporate HR manager and risk management
Yeah.
is my job. I live in Seattle, Washington, and work in
Nice.
Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Pretty simple. And
not sure.
then, how was kind of your situation before kind of working with me? So like when you had, worked with a nutritionist, you had all these different GI issues going on, different things going on, like expand on kind of the problems you were facing before you started working with us.
So I had chronic pain for about 8 years. And I was trying to like figure out how to deal with that without having to, resort to pharmaceuticals.
Hmm.
And so I saw a dietitian for, about a year and realized that it was kind of, it was food related. However, that didn't solve all the problems. So
Hmm.
I was seeing my endocrinologist. He was trying to, help me with my hormones. And I was seeing a naturopath and he was trying to help me with my gut health. And I was, still seeing my dietitian because he was still, trying to help me monitor or deal with my pain, through
Yeah.
food. Um, and I saw you on Instagram,
Yeah.
and I've never actually like reached out to anybody before, so that was unusual for me. So I feel like it was kind of meant to be. I was just curious because it was basically, I'm seeing three different people for this trifecta of issues,
Yeah.
where nobody's communicating with each other. I'm trying to relay information, and I felt like, when you're a kid and you play the phone game, it's
Hmm.
like I didn't feel like everything was being passed down around, and my problems weren't, you know, they weren't working, and
Yeah.
my food was so limited. I mean, I
Mm.
basically ate ground beef, cauliflower rice, you know, and um, sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And it was getting to the point where, like, just eating that um, would make me gag. So I knew I couldn't do this long term. There's no
Yeah.
way. I knew I was gonna like fall back, and I would fall back. I would eat something that I knew that I shouldn't, and then have pain for 2 days. So, um, and I was struggling. The dietitian was struggling getting enough protein in.
Hmm.
So, two of my meals were like supplemented by a protein
Uh,
shake, and
yeah.
blueberries. I could have blueberries, so I could have I could have berries in general. But
Yeah.
so it was I just knew it wasn't sustainable. So
Definitely.
when you contacted me and we talked about it seemed like the perfect solution because you were going to, help with dietitian, you were going to help with gut health, and then you were, also going to help with hormones. And then
Yeah.
as like an add-on, I mean, because I was in pain for so many years, I like gained, a lot of weight. So
Hmm.
you were going to help with, the weight loss as well. So
Yeah.
it was kind of, a win-win in my book.
Win-win and the
Yeah.
all-in-one solution kind of. And
Hmm.
walk me through like when you say you were feeling like chronic pain, how was that kind of when we just started? Like, before we started, what did that pain look like? What symptoms were you experiencing with your GI, different things like that?
So the chronic pain was it, it was really hard to predict, because unless I stuck to those like five different, foods that I was eating, because I wasn't really sure. Sometimes I would have like an egg
Hmm.
and nothing would happen, but then I'd be like, oh, I can eat eggs, and I'd have an egg the next day, and then I would be have pain like through my whole. It starts in my joints, but then it builds into my muscle,
Mm.
and so uh, that was kind of where things were, and I wanted to eat a variety of food. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was important to me. Um, but the pain was really, uh, you don't want to move.
Mm.
I could feel myself maybe not falling into like, well, I did cry in a grocery store one time, but not falling into like a depression, but I just, going from like, I work from home, so going
Yeah.
from work to, my couch to bed because
Hmm.
it just hurt too much to move. Um, and I'm in my 50s, so
Yeah.
I know that you start to lose like bone density and muscle mass easily, and um, so and then I am also going through menopause,
Hmm.
so it's just so many things are happening at once right now,
Definitely.
or we're happening at once right now. I mean, they're still happening. The other thing with my gut was I would not have a bowel movement for like 3 days,
I know.
or more. So, and I just always like felt, bloated and, um, you know, I talked to my doctors about it and they just don't have like a solution for you unless it's a pill that they want you to take. And I don't want
Yeah.
to be, dependent on a bunch of pills. Um, I had, and another thing that I knew created a lot of distress for me was dairy,
Hmm.
but I couldn't, my doctor said, oh, well, take lactose, pills, but it
Didn't
didn't,
work.
yeah. So it was just kind of figuring out, I needed to figure something out.
Yeah.
So,
And what were your thoughts, I guess, like after going from where you were before, right? Like kind of more chronic pain, you had a lot of GI issues to where you were at kind of the end of the program. Like how did those two things differ for you?
so I think well, the GI health, um, way better. Like,
Yeah.
I have a bowel movement every day. I don't
Wow.
feel bloated. Um, I that's like I feel like a 360 because I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's when I was 26, and
Yeah.
so I've never had regular bowel movements like I
That's
do now.
awesome.
So that was a big win. I When originally you told me that wasn't normal, I thought, well, my doctors know that I don't, so it must be normal for me, but
Hmm.
it's not. So I found out. Um, I um, I forgot. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. You were talking
Um,
about like how you had better gut health now as opposed to like 6 months
oh,
ago. And then,
and now I can eat. Well, I can eat eggs. I eat eggs every
yeah.
day. I
Wow.
found that I have to make sure that I can't do corn at all.
Hmm.
And I think that part of my issue was I think the chickens were eating corn because
Mm.
I started, I mean, I could tell that I was better and I could
Yeah.
eat eggs. But I find that, because I can eat them every day now as long as
That's
I'm
huge.
making sure to get like pasture raised and not corn fed kind of eggs, which was weird to me, but it made a
Yeah.
difference.
That's huge.
So
Because that,
yeah.
and then I know rice was a big one for you too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I couldn't. Well, grains in general, I couldn't even eat any grains at all. Now I eat rice. I do about 140 grams a day,
yeah.
so I'm eating rice every single day. Um, I still can't do like wheat,
Hmm.
even if it's gluten free, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, I but well, but so I do once a month.
Hmm.
On a Friday when I one of the things I really love is jajangmyeon, which
I
is like
know.
a black bean, ramen like Korean dish. which I love. And so once a month, I will eat it anyway. And I'll have pain in the morning when I wake up, but usually about 3 hours later, it goes away and
It's
I'm
great.
fine. So um, I feel like I have to have a treat every once in a while, and that is my treat of something I know that I shouldn't
Yeah.
eat, but I do. Yeah.
And that's good though, because we got your health to a place where you can have those things and it's not like days of pain or like
Yeah.
knocked out. It's not as severe and like
Yes.
you can enjoy some things now. Like used to I remember when you were telling me in the beginning like I can't eat eggs at all. I have to eat eggs in like Ireland. Like it's the only place that I can eat eggs basically.
Yeah.
We went from
Yes.
like, never eating eggs to hey, I can eat eggs every day or hey, I can never eat rice to I can eat rice basically every day. And so
Hmm.
those give you a lot of freedom when it comes down to the foods you actually enjoy eating. Like you like eating foods at like the Japanese restaurants when you went to Tokyo, places like that. Like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
eating that more ethnic food. That's like a huge one.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess what were kind of your like going into the process and everything? What were your doubts and maybe even fears about starting something new?
My doubt, well, one was, I've been seeing a registered dietitian for like over a year. So one of them was like, well, what could you really do?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a lot of money if,
Yeah.
nothing happens kind of thing. So that was my doubt. And just in the beginning, all the supplements, I've never
Mm-hmm.
taken supplements other than
Yeah.
vitamin D because my doctor recommended it because I live in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
um, and so all the supplements I was nervous about.
Yeah.
But I just decided to like follow everything like to the letter,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just see what happens. And I know
Yeah.
that it was like in my head, but the first day that I took all the supplements, I was like laying in bed and I'm like, I had a little bit of anxiety because I'm like, can I breathe? Like, are the supplements affecting me? Like, but then I just was like, you know what, get out of your head. So, and it was fine. Like, I even
Yeah.
talked to my, doctor about like all the supplements, and she said, I bring the whole list to her, and she's like, everything is fine. Like,
Yeah.
you know, um, so she didn't have
Yeah.
any issues. So
That's
yeah,
great.
I did it, and I'm still like, doing a lot of them because they were all very, very helpful.
Okay.
So,
That's great. And for you, like maybe there's people there that are like, just for context, for you specifically, we kind of had to go through a GI protocol. So we went through kind of a inflammation phase. We were looking to really take down a lot of the inflammation, a lot of the bloating that you had going on. Then we took you through kind of a kill phase, which was kind of killing all the bad bacteria. And then
hmm.
finally, we went into that repopulation to kind of get the good bacteria back in. Now, with kind of those fears about like, oh my gosh, what about the supplements or what about what else can Ethan do compared to everyone else? What made you say yes anyways, even though you were worried?
um, I um, people spend a lot of uh, money on cars and food
Yeah.
and or eating out restaurants or drinking with friends or travel. And um, when it kind of started, well, when I before, like when I contacted you,
Hmm.
and then you like immediately set up a meeting. But during that time, um, I figured it was going to be expensive, but my health is worth it because
Hmm.
it's not just about the short term and what's going on right now. It's about the long term and what is my quality of life going to be when I'm, you know,
Yeah.
70, 80, like, or even beyond that. The people, the women in my family, like, live, I feel like, forever. I mean, my grandmother lived to 98. My
Yeah.
mom is at 89. She just turned 89 in March. Like, that's a long time to be in pain and
Hmm.
unhealthy. Um, just not only in my, diet, but just, you know, I wanted to. have a better foundation of
Mm.
dealing with, the autoimmune disease that I have. And plus my endocrinologist told me that if I don't have pain for like a year,
Yeah,
they consider that being in remission.
that's awesome.
And so that was my goal and where I want to, what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
And I was willing to just do it. I mean, you
Yeah,
have to kind of, I don't
put
know,
yourself
for
first.
me, I have to make the decision in my head and just do it. I get very fatigued, like, sometimes with just all weighing food now is like second nature to me, and I know
Yeah,
that
of
it's really
course.
helpful. But, um, you know, th- there were times though where it's just
Of
you
course.
feel like it's a lot.
Yeah, of
But
course.
um but honestly there was, some of those times where I just felt defeated or it wasn't working. We'd talk and you'd point out, like I remember one time I was like, I'm not seeing any difference at all. And you were like,
Mhm.
well, look at the pictures. And that's why we have
Yeah,
pictures every week. And then when you can kind of see it and you point it out, that was very helpful to me. That helped my like mental state to be like, okay, this is working. Because I feel like
yeah,
when I can see progress, I'm willing to put in the energy to make progress happen. But if I
100%.
can't see it, I mean, I can feel it, but I can't see the things that were healing in the background. I couldn't
Yeah,
really see. If that
of
makes sense.
course. Of course. And that's a lot of people, right? Is that like when you do something, you're putting a lot of effort, you're going to have those down days. You're going to have the days where you kind of lose a little bit of that motivation. But we always, like you talked about, we always brought it back to your why and kind of those improvements that we were seeing in the background, right? Like
Hmm.
I remember you saying, oh man, I can't remember when, but it was like, I remember looking back at the check ins and it used to be like, GI issues that you experienced this week, and it'd be like boom, 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 and then we saw it this week, and it was like none, and it was like
Yeah,
that's like people don't notice that until you actually look back and you're like, wait, that's the way I used to live every day. That's the way that I used to feel. Like,
yeah. And that's another thing that helped me through the process that we didn't talk about was my sleep.
yeah,
Uh, my sleep hasn't improved. Like, um, I mean, I would probably get 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night, and now I'm getting, 6 to 8. So
wow,
I
that's
usually
great.
just wake up once in the middle of the night, and I tend to go back to sleep like right away. Where
That's great.
before I was waking up every hour, it felt like. So yeah,
That's
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 a big
huge.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that you were telling me 4 or 5 times a night minimum.
Hmm. Yeah. And then I would struggle to get back to sleep. And my doctor gave me sleeping pills, which
Mm-hmm.
I did decide, she said it's bad for your brain function if you're not sleeping. So I did decide to take them, but they would put me to sleep, but they don't keep me to sleep. And I wasn't really willing to go with anything too strong. So,
Yeah.
but I don't take them at all. I mean,
That's huge. Right?
yeah,
No sleep medication. You're sleeping 6 to 8 hours now.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like maybe once getting it up.
Mhm.
Awesome. That's
And I've
amazing.
had people just comment. I mean, I guess when you're in it, you think that you're happy all the time and
Hmm.
that you're putting on a good face, I guess. But I've had people tell me, that I seem so, what are you doing? You seem so much happier. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? And it's like, well, I'm just not in pain. So there's that. I mean, I don't tell people that. I don't know. I'm just like working on me kind of thing. But um, yeah. So.
Yeah. It's those subtle things that people start to pick up on where it's like you smile a bit more, you have a bit more energy. You're not
Hmm.
as like agitated. If you slept 2 hours a night, you're probably going to be a little bit annoyed.
Oh yeah.
Like those
Oh,
kind of
I'm
things will
sure.
come up.
Yeah.
So kind of having the healthier lifestyle, like that was the
Hmm.
biggest thing for you.
Yeah, it's been great.
Awesome.
So,
And I guess what would you tell someone who's like potentially, watching this right now, who isn't sure about taking that next step, just like you were at one point? Like, what would you kind of say to them?
I you know, it's I think there's nothing more important than than your health. But
Yeah.
I think, like you said, you have to have your why, and you also
Hmm.
you have to make the decision that this is you now moving forward. This is
Mm.
your normal. This is you. These are the habits that you're going to build. And then when you kind of look at it as just, you know, adding, uh, investing, I guess, in yourself
Yeah.
to be better in the future, like, and you make them habits, um, it does become easier. It's like something
Yeah.
clicks and it starts to be a little bit easier. Um, like you said, you're always gonna have, you know,
Of course.
um, days that don't go so well. But I also tried to just not be so hard on myself when I kind of have that type A personality where
Hmm.
if it's not perfect, then why am I doing this? And it's
Yes.
getting away from that mentality of, today might not have been perfect,
Hmm.
but I'm
You
gonna
did your
wake up
best.
tomorrow and do better. So,
Yeah. And
um,
yeah. And it's important that you mention that the identity shift because it is kind of becoming a new version of yourself, right? You
mhm,
have, version one, number one over here, which has all these different habits, kind of lives this lifestyle, has these different pains, these different things going on. And then there's version number two, which is on the other side of the bridge. And they have everything that you want and they're happier and they're healthier. The thing to
mhm,
get in between that is getting the right help and knowing what to do to be able to cross that bridge. And that's exactly the most important thing is taking that step.
mhm. Yeah, no,
100%.
I agree with you definitely.
Yeah.
It's yeah, I think it's important to invest in yourself. Everybody thinks about, other people or
Hmm.
their work or, you know, um, their children or I don't have children, so that's like, an added stress, but, it's like it's important to just kind of think about yourself first sometimes and be a little bit selfish. That's kind of
Yeah.
where I was with this. Like
Yeah. And not even selfish. I mean, it's you, right? Like this is your life. Nobody else gets to decide it for you. So it's
yeah.
like, am I tired of the way that I'm living? Am I tired of the pain that I'm feeling? Yes. And I gotta do something about this. I gotta
Hmm.
start making those steps. And that's why it worked for you because you took that information, you made that decision, and you said, hey, this is gonna be my new normal. This is gonna be my new lifestyle that I follow. I'm not
Yeah.
going back to the way I was before.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's why even now, right? Like it's been, about a month and you're still you're doing great. Like you're
Yeah.
still able to eat the same, you're still able to live the same lifestyle and you're still pretty much living pain free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I am. I and even when I, have my special treat,
Hmm.
it's just a few hours in the morning, honestly. So,
Amazing.
it's good.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for
Yeah.
talking a little bit about your experience. I hope that you have a great rest of your day and we will talk soon.
Okay. I just wanted
Awesome.
to thank you also. I really
Yeah.
appreciate just not only the knowledge you have, but also the emotional support what you add into that. So, thank you.
Of course. Of